Good morning, Jason Wydrow here with Online Strategy Podcast on Monday, October 11th, 2021. Today I'm going to talk to you about a topic that has been a roller coaster ride for a lot of businesses, particularly businesses that function and operate through the internet and depend on the internet for their new business, for their communication, for everything related to their product or service, including sales, delivery, etc. So you may fall into a category with that or a partial, but in essence, this podcast is about the ebb and flow, the way the tide comes in and out, per se, of online business, how consumers buy, and the successful things or unsuccessful things, or when times change and trends change, and how to keep up with some of that. So the most simplistic way that I like to explain this is that trends change. Basically, let's go back to 2001. Let's go back to 2001. eBay. eBay is a good example. eBay was a place where you could build a business from the ground up, and there was opportunity everywhere in the position for consumers. This goes back, by the way, before 2001. But 2001, it was still strong, where you could go and find items. You could go from garage sale to garage sale, run classified ads, want ads for specific types of products, antiques, collectibles, coins, all that stuff. And I'm not saying that there aren't still companies doing this today or individuals doing this today. My point is at that time, it was before the surge came in where it became very popular and known, and so much has been learned about collectibles and items over time that as time went on, more people became aware of what was valuable and how they could sell it online and how easy it was, and it was very simple. So that I'm using this as a kind of a ruler and an example because I think anyone that's been in online business has some familiarity with this. Not to mention, let's just hypothetically say you have a product or service, and you're doing great. You have this product, you're selling the service, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, another product or service very similar to you comes out of the blue. This is the difference between our old mom and pop's model, where you have a shop in a town where somebody would walk by or drive by or see your ad and come visit you, versus now you're on what we call the World Wide Web. You're an international operation, and anyone who wants to sell this specific product or service now has the capability to compete with you. So as time evolves, that niche that you are in generally becomes even more of a niche, and you start to, the way that in which you have to operate becomes different. And that's the real point of this podcast, is that change, that these unexpected changes that occur, and how you navigate that, and how you deal with that, and how you transform, but most importantly, how you stay ahead of that on an online, business that you're operating. Now, again, this online business could be generating leads, it could be selling products, it could be selling a service, it could be anything that you do that is dependent on the internet primarily to generate, create, and continue your business. So how do you stay ahead on all of this? This is one of the tricky things, but it's not that difficult for somebody who really is involved in the business that they're in. Because generally speaking, from my experience, the best way to stay on top of that information is to continue exploring and understanding what trends are happening, what other businesses are doing, and how they're changing and how they're adapting, and particularly in the fields that you're in. For example, this is a good example. So for dental, dental marketing, for example, there are services out there that, they offer kind of a, turnkey solution per se. Not that they're always applicable to a specific dental office or that they're helpful. Oftentimes they can create more confusion, but they have a great pitch and they seem to appear to solve a big problem. And that problem is generally, let's just say, gathering more reviews. Gathering more reviews faster, easier, in a simpler method. So when at one point this might have all been done just manually, all manual, this new solution came out. So the service of implementing systems where practices request or ask for reviews is no longer a thing that's needed because there's a simple turnkey solution that kind of solves that. Well, sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years goes by and these turnkey solutions don't turn the key as well as anyone thought they should have, or there's other complications. So it falls back to a more manual, consulted, diligent approach that takes a different type of service in order to carry out properly. So again, the point of this podcast is really to stay ahead of the game. Know your industry. Explore your industry well. Know what's happening. Know the trends that are happening. And there's you have the entire internet to explore. You have so much information that you can continually gather. Lists that you can be on, forums that you can be a part of, anything, groups that you can be a part of, anything online that you can just really keep a pulse on what's happening and what's changing. And this is the best way I know how to stay on top of the game when you're very dependent on online technology for the success of your business. Particularly if it's a product, a tangible product that you manufacture, or if it's a service that you offer that is unique. There is no way, shape, or form that there will ever be a service or a product that is successful that won't be copied or emulated in some other way or attempted to be improved. That's just the nature of the beast in business. And we can go as far back as, the early days of eBay, again, going back to that example where you had people, going to rummage sales, garage sales, flea markets, finding things, realizing that eBay had an explosion of collectors looking for things, paying top dollar, big money for rare antiques, collectibles, and things like that. And, again, once you had that niche market, right? Collectibles, let's say, way back. And then all of a sudden, collectibles branched into, World War II collectibles, and this collectibles, and these collectibles, and antique instrument collectibles, and every other little genre started to really spread out. And all these individuals that were really at the top of their game at that time started really getting into their niche and started really excelling at that and kind of broke away. But it's all about niche. The internet's all about niche. It's all about, and generally speaking, I would say that's the same for any explanation, but I'm particularly referring to the internet where you really have to hone in, because even on the internet with search engine optimization, you really have to, today, again, way back, it was antiques, collectibles. Now it's a very unique target market that you're trying to address. And, as a business owner and someone who's trying to succeed in that, you really have to drill it down. If you want a chance for success or a chance to break out from one of those other bigger, organizations that are out there. So anyway, these are just some tips from my personal experience from working with peers in the industry, seeing what's happened over the years and really understanding the trends and the changes in the market. And of course, I didn't even bring up the fact that there can be external factors that change that you have to adapt to and understand. Back in 2007 is a great example. When banks stopped loaning, startups, they stopped loaning essentially, big time, which changed the mega startups that were happening online. There were these ebbs and tides of startups, flowing, and the 2005 to 2007 era was big time major startups happening online. And so the income for a business delivers marketing service, for example, could be hit pretty hard on that. But how do you adapt? How did you circle around that? Then we had a big change in the way the whole market online worked. Other solutions coming out that solve that problem, lower costs, faster services, quicker websites, whatever it was. Things adapted and changed. But anyway, Jason Wydrow here with Online Strategy Podcast. Thank you for listening today. I will definitely be talking about this topic more as time passes. This is an interesting topic to me, and I've seen so much, I feel like I want to share it. So again, thanks for listening. Wishing you a great day. Until next time, talk to you later.